Greetings, Internet. I have a package. Now, some of you might be familiar where these boxes come from. For those that aren't, it is of course AmiAmi. It is the world's leading source of waifus and waifu materials, not to be confused with Wi-Fi. Now, what's actually in the box is in the video title. It is the shiny new thing. It is the GSI Creos, also known as Gunze Sangyo, or formerly known, anyway, Mr. Hobby, Procon BOY, LWA trigger type, double action, 0.5mm nozzle, model number PS-290. It is a broad coverage airbrush, and I've been looking to get one for a while now. And I've settled on this because, well, it offers both circular pattern and fan spray attachment. And also, the original price was 15,500 yen, but AmiAmi had it on sale for just slightly over 10,000 yen. And even with the shipping, with the terrible Canadian dollar, this cost me quite a lot less than the other options in the broad coverage airbrush categories. So let's take a look. I know there is quite a few unboxing videos of this on the internet. Hope of this one is that it's gonna be a bit more useful than the ones I found. Okay, so here's the airbrush. Lots of documentation. Good stuff. Cleaning, stuff like that. Assembly guide. Okay. So, the important things. Look at how huge that is. This is a big, beefy airbrush. Hold on one second, let me get my regular one. Okay. This is my original airbrush that I bought when I started getting into the hobby. It is the Iwata Eclipse HPCS. It comes with a... You can see this one is much beefier. Now, originally the HPCS is a 0.35mm nozzle. I've had mine converted to the 0.5 with the available parts. This is also 0.5. So both of these are 0.5 airbrush nozzles. That number might mean they perform the same, but they do not. Because as you can see, this thing is designed completely differently. And I cannot wait to try it out. It comes with, okay, what else is in the box? We have the big beefy cup. Very nice. We have a hose. We have a regulator. Nice. And we have the round spray cap. Now, back around 2006 or something, I bought this locally at an art store in Toronto. It cost me just over 200 Canadian dollars. And it did not come with a hose, and it did not actually come with this needle adjustment thing. I had to buy that as an aftermarket part, this adjustment screw. So this whole airbrush with the 0.5, that cost me probably around $230 to $240. This thing shipped with the hose, with the air regulator, and nice rolling cup, 142 Canadian dollars. And this is in March of 2016, when the Canadian dollar is it's doing extremely poorly right now. So I'm quite happy that this big wide coverage airbrush cost me basically $100 less than something I bought 10 years ago. So like even with inflation, that's gonna be like a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, so here we are in the spray booth. There's the brush, there's the trigger. As you can see, light pull gets the air going. And then there's a much stiffer spring for the paint. So let's see. I put the circular pattern cap on it. So you can see it just lays down very thick, which I like. I needed something like this because I'm starting to build bigger and bigger models, and my current airbrush just isn't covering, it just isn't throwing out enough material. So this is going to be much better. Now let's try the fan spray attachment. Look at that. That's like 3 inches across. That's amazing. Slight, as you can see, there's a slight kind of a lighter spot in the middle of the pattern, but I guess if you're gonna do broad coverage and overlap your coats, that's not gonna be, oh, out of paint already. See, it just throws the paint out. That's great. That's exactly what I need. Okay, so while I'm playing around with this, like as you can see, you can actually do pretty fine work. And also, but the main reason, I need a broad cover airbrush. I need it for primers, I need it for clear coats, I need it for stuff like that, and even for base coats. And in my research, okay, here's a link. That was a very useful video to me. So at that point I decided that my candidates for a wide spray airbrush would be, oh yeah, see that consistent wet coat? That's what I need. So at that point I started with the candidates mentioned in the video, like the Iwata HPTH. It's also a trigger type like this, and it also has a round cap and a fan spray cap. The difference with the Iwata is it has an air control valve right here. The other difference is it costs like $50 to $60 more than this. Then there is the TH2. It has even more coverage than the TH, but that one costs twice as much as this. So in getting this, what my hope was that I could finally try out the trigger type airbrush, because like with the regular one, I use it, I like it, but after a long while my hand cramps with the regular trigger. So with the top side trigger, right? But this one feels very nice. So that's one thing. And again, goes right through paint. Amazing. Okay, so here's the main reason I need a bigger airbrush. I'm starting to get into boat hulls. Well, boats as a whole. This is actually a somewhat small sized hull. I have multiple kits that are a lot bigger than this, and if I try, like if I could prime it with a spray can, but the hardware store stuff, it goes on too thick. The hobby stuff, like this stuff is amazing. It goes on wonderfully. but it's like $12, $14 a can plus tax. That's a lot. I mean, and I would prefer to have more control, but still, like if I try to prime this hull with my Iwata CS, you can see it's taking lots and lots and lots of passes. And like it's not consistently wet, so it's gonna come out with different textures. I could try to be better, but it's still not gonna come out perfect. So I was looking to hopefully ease this pain, and looking at that video where he talks about the spray guns and the primers, how to apply a good coat of primer, the trigger type fan spray airbrushes seemed like a great idea. Now, with the spray gun and the fan pattern, let's try that. That turned out great. I think I still need to play around with the air pressure. And I think this is gonna be fantastic. Okay, so for the sake of science, let's do this. There's that spray pattern. Here is the circular spray pattern. Now, here's the Iwata HPCS with a 0.5 nozzle. A little bit spitty. You can see it's like, if I try to go back or mess with the air pressure, it's just going to overspray a lot more. You can see this paint is a lot more concentrated in the center. Like it starts flooding out and the overspray is much bigger. So 0.5, 0.5, but performs completely, well, not completely differently, but differently enough for me to warrant this purchase. And I think the recommendations in that spray gun video were fantastic, but I can't quite justify splurging like 300 on an Iwata G3 or G5, the proper big spray guns. But this thing should take me just far enough with my current modeling projects. And just for fun, this is a 0.3 millimeter airbrush from eBay. That's roughly equivalent to my HPCS in its original configuration with a 0.35 nozzle. I got this after my CS had a horrible accident with gravity. Yeah, this thing is even more useless at broad area coverage. Like if I had my original CS, I would be struggling right now while upgrading the CS. Okay, there we go. Okay, so upgrading the CS from 0.35 to 0.5 did give a lot more material delivery. Like when you look at the, like just the basic math, 0.5 nozzle has twice the area of a 0.3 nozzle. Actually, wait, 3 times the area, yeah. 3 times the area for the material throughput, flow rate, whichever way you measure it. So, yeah. I'll keep the small and light airbrushes for fine work, and the big new Procon BOY for the primers, the base coats, the clear coats, everything that needs to go on broadly and nice and wet to get a very good finish. So, Mr. Color, GSI, Creos, Procon BOY, trigger type, PS-290, the many names that this has. Initial thoughts, like, what did I want out of this airbrush? I needed a large coverage airbrush, and when choosing between, let's say, the Iwata HPTH, that one at the very minimum would cost me 184 Canadian dollars. That's the absolute cheapest it would have cost me, and it was out of stock at that place. Now, the Iwata TH2, that offers even more coverage, but that one starts at like 320 bucks. Here's a link. Let's just put it right here. A link to a video that's a very nice, very quick, very good comparison of the TH and the TH2. Now, other options for fan spray airbrushes that I found were Grex. Grex offers a bunch of trigger type airbrushes that go all the way up to 0.7 millimeters if you buy the kit, and those start at around 320 for me. So when this thing was like 140 shipped total, nothing more, I thought that this would be a great opportunity to try broad coverage airbrush, fan spray attachment, trigger type, and so far, after playing around with this thing for about half an hour, I am quite happy with all of those features. It delivers what I wanted. The only thing I think what I'll do is I'll get this accessory. It's both an air filter and a regulator. Like, I understand now why the HPTH has an air regulator built in, because I need to do more spraying, more playing around with it to get the hang of it. But so far, even the initial results are great. Like, is this side? Wait, yeah, this is the side. Yeah, you can see nice smooth coat. I have a bit of a dust problem right now, so all of my paint has a lot of dust on it because I have a very powerful spray booth and I live in a dirty environment. So once I clean up and start building properly, this is not going to be a problem anymore. But for now, I am extremely happy with this thing, and hopefully it should finish up a lot of projects. We'll see. Well, hopefully this has been a useful video. Oh well.